Have you ever noticed most people don't realize they're playing a game? They just feel tired, overlooked, confused about why effort keeps failing. They show up early, they respond quickly, they try harder, explain more, care deeper. And somehow, the more they invest, the less they seem to matter. This isn't because they're weak, and it's not because they're doing something wrong. It's because they're inside a system that doesn't reward effort the way we were taught it should. Every environment runs on signals, not morals, not fairness, not intention. Signals. Your nervous system broadcasts information constantly, through tone, pacing, availability, and reaction. Other nervous systems read those signals automatically, without conscious thought. And here's what most people miss. The system doesn't respond to how hard you try. It responds to how much you need the outcome. When your presence becomes predictable, your value becomes background noise. Not because people are cruel, but because attention is expensive, and the brain is designed to conserve it. Predictability requires less processing. Scarcity requires more. This is why effort often backfires. When you're always available, always responsive, always accommodating, you send a quiet signal. I will adjust before you have to. That reduces tension, but it also removes weight. Over time, the system stops relating to you as agency and starts treating you like infrastructure. Useful, but unnoticed. This is why restraint often speaks louder than performance. Why calm carries more weight than explanation. It's not confidence. It's not charisma. It's regulation. The real cost of playing the game is internal. The more you adapt to external expectations, the more fragmented you become. You start performing instead of choosing, reacting instead of observing, maintaining instead of moving. The exhaustion that follows isn't physical. It's cognitive. You're constantly managing perception, constantly smoothing friction, constantly proving position. And slowly, the system trains you to believe that effort equals worth. It doesn't. It only equals participation. The game works because most people never question it. They mistake responsiveness for connection, visibility for relevance, engagement for agency. But the system only exists as long as everyone keeps reacting inside it. The moment someone stops adjusting, stops over-explaining, stops reflexively responding, something subtle happens. The system pauses, not because anyone is confused, but because the usual signals are missing. And when predictability disappears, attention returns. This isn't strategy. Most people misunderstand what regulation looks like. They think it means becoming distant, cold, unavailable. It doesn't. Regulation doesn't remove care. It removes urgency. You still respond, but not reflexively. You still engage, but not compulsively. You still show up, but without abandoning yourself in the process. From the outside, this can look confusing. People may say you've changed, that you're quieter, harder to read. What they're really noticing is that they no longer have immediate access to your nervous system, and that's unfamiliar. This is why stepping out of the game often creates discomfort before clarity. When you stop auto-adjusting, others are briefly forced to feel the weight of their own signals, not as punishment, not as control, but because regulation redistributes responsibility. You're no longer carrying the emotional momentum of the room alone. This is also why regulated presence feels heavier. There's no rush to resolve tension, no performance to smooth things over, no explanation to manage perception, just containment. And containment is rare. It's important to be clear about that. This isn't about withholding, manipulating, or trying to control outcomes. There's a difference between silence used to influence and silence that comes from regulation. One is performance. The other is presence. The system may not distinguish between them at first, but you can, and that distinction matters. Some environments depend on dysregulation. Some systems only function when someone overextends. Some relationships rely on one person being reactive. Some structures collapse when effort is withdrawn. Not because they're malicious, but because they were never built for balance. In those cases, trying harder doesn't fix the problem. It reinforces it. Stepping back isn't avoidance. It's diagnostic. You learn very quickly what was sustained by pressure alone. The real shift isn't external. It's internal permission. Permission to pause before responding. Permission to choose engagement selectively. Permission to let ambiguity exist without rushing to resolve it. This isn't detachment from people. It's detachment from compulsion. And paradoxically, that's what restores clarity. The hardest part isn't stepping back once. It's tolerating what happens next. The pause, the silence, the unanswered signal. That space is where old conditioning surfaces, the urge to fix, to clarify, to reinsert yourself so things feel familiar again. That urge isn't intuition, it's training. And learning to sit with it, without reacting, is where the shift actually locks in. So here's the only question that matters. Are you participating because it aligns with you, or because the system trained you to respond? Some games reward skill, some reward endurance, and some only exist because everyone agrees to keep losing slowly. Once you see that, you don't need to dominate the game. You just decide whether it deserves your energy at all. This isn't advice, it's a lens. And once you see through it, something subtle but permanent changes. You don't withdraw from the world. You just stop being automatically available to every system that demands you. If this perspective resonates, stay nearby. More clarity follows. Neuropia, where inner power becomes outward precision.